In his book, Birds in Their Naturalist Habitat, Journeys with a Naturalist, Ian Fraser recounts one of his many adventures. He's exhausted and tired, trudging through the rainforests, and it's raining like really, really hard, and he's looking for this bird. And he's tired, and he wants to go home, and at this point, he's like, I'm not going to find this bird. And it stops raining, and he looks around and realizes that he's in this bird's nest. And at the moment, he's like, if I don't find this bird, that's gonna be okay. But then he finds the bird. Like, the bird flies right past him and sits on a rock. And he says that it's perfectly framed for me by two trees. This lanky gray bird with gleaming bare head, brilliant red crown, and blue forehead seemed to peer straight at me. For 5 seconds, 10, I have no idea. The real answer, though, is forever. For the image is still bright and sharp in my mind, and will be so throughout my life. Birdwatching is the best outdoor activity because of its versatility. Birdwatching is the best because you can create your own birdwatching experiences with variety of difficulty and purposes. A majority of birdwatchers are hobbyists, but some are professionals, and many even risk their lives for the trade, and to find what is known as the good bird. So, a good bird, according to Matterson in his book, Birdwatching in New Hampshire, is a rarity. Rare birds that are hard to spot, or rare spectacles of common birds. And actually, if you can find both, that's amazing. In fact, there are some bird watchers that'll go up onto cliffs to videotape this bald eagle ritual where they clasp talons in a mating ritual and they spiral in like a circle in the air. It's like amazing. I watched the video and I watched it like for 5 minutes straight, replaying it over and over. Matterson talks about a flock of 40 Hudsonian goodwits saying that they flew past us, low over the ocean. I have seen them on many occasions, but this was the first time I had witnessed their famed ocean crossing. I felt as though I was witnessing something remarkable. In McGrath's Flight Paths, a field journal of hope, heartbreak, and miracles with New York's bird people, he quotes this well-respected British naturalist, Derek Radcliffe, who recalls a birding event he had when he was 16, saying that years later he still thrilled at the memory. And there, at last, was the marvelous bird in life, cruising up and down for me to admire and filling the dale with its strident chatter. Radcliffe, Matterson, Fraser, and McGrath are professionals with great birdwatching experiences, but you don't have to be a professional to enjoy a great birdwatching experience. In fact, you don't need any skills at all. Unlike another outdoor activity, kayaking. I learned kayaking in school, and it took us about 2 weeks before we even got into the boat of watching videos of this one guy in a kayak going forward and backwards and turning. When we finally got into the boat about 2 weeks later, all we got to do was like a circle. We went forward and we turned around and we went back, and that was it. That was our entire experience. There was a bonus field trip that you could do that was like 2 months later, but then you had to redo the kayaking stuff again to show that you knew how to go kayaking before you went on the trip. And I realized that I needed skills in kayaking before even kayaking, and it was so frustrating. But you can start birdwatching right now. In fact, due to the pandemic, many have. Gina Bill is a mom who writes the East Coast Mommy column, who says she has been staying home more due to COVID-19 pandemic and is constantly looking for ways to entertain her boys, get them outdoors, and work in a bit of learning. So not surprisingly, the idea of birdwatching sounded interesting to her. She's not alone. Allison Braden writes a great article about a new bird-themed board game called Wingspan. Elizabeth Haregrave, the maker of the game, said that on the day of the game's release, it had sold out, selling over 200,000 copies before the year ended. Braden noted that during COVID, more people sought refuge in nature and interest in birdwatching exploded, with more than 50,000 birdwatchers worldwide submitting sightings. With Wingspan, fans found they could bring passion indoors and commune over a normal, typically solitary hobby. In summary, birdwatching can be enjoyed by professionals and hobbyists. It's extremely easy to start and is quite popular, with more and more people turning to birdwatching's peace and serenity. On your birdwatching journey, never forget the words of Ian Fraser. The older I get, the more I realize that in birdwatching, as in life, the most important thing is looking for. Looking at is just a bonus, never to be presumed.